Three. We have a special version of the Cowboys and Coffee podcast taking place
Yeah.
from Rome.
Rome is Rome.
You're enjoying your time over there?
Yes, I am. Yes,
What's
I
the
am.
best coffee you've had over there while you've been there?
I've had espressos every day. You know that.
I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Something tells me you've had gelatos every day while you've been over there too.
Gelatos every day. Going to have it later on tonight.
I'm
Absolutely.
not shocked at all. Listen, I'm glad you're there. We bet happy when you're back soon.
Yep.
Let's talk Cowboys. Let's talk free agency. Let's talk grades. Where are you at so far with their grades for what they've done for the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, the grade is from that defensive coordinator we got, getting his guys. And, I know there was a theme talking about his guys, or everybody used to talk about that with Garrett.
Right kind
But
of guys, right?
Yeah, my kind of guys. I think they're getting away from that type of thing, but it's still the same principle there. They're going to be strong up the middle. That's what they're building on. Strong up the middle. That means they're game plan around stopping the run first and make you pass. So I give it a. I'm not going to give it an A plus because that's too silly to give A plus. An A.
Oh wow, an A. I'm gonna give it a
Yes.
B
Nah.
so far because, well, Jerry talked up about breaking the bank, and I look at someone like a Trey Hendrickson, and that's a very doable deal. What I thought would have been a doable contract for Dallas to offer him. They did it. Now they traded Osa for a third round pick because Osa doesn't fit their defensive scheme. You have to trade, you have to
Deal.
get bigger defensive linemen. We love Osa, don't get me wrong. 6'3",
Yeah.
280, great guy, really one of the leaders of the locker room last year with everything that happened. He stood up. When everything happened with Marshawn Nealon, like he's an A-plus guy. I'm not happy he's gone because he's a great person and I wish him nothing but the best, the second best to only the Cowboys. Um, but you got a third round pick out of it, which you're going to continue to develop. Your DNs need to be big. They need to be 310, 300 pounds to stop the run. They need to be able to stop it up front. You have Quinnen and Kenny Clark, right? I'm going to give it a B. I like some of these. I like Jalen Thompson and PJ Locke back there. I like the Kobe Durant signing at cornerback. He's not a slot guy, but he's on the outside. I think he has a nose for the ball. I think he's excellent here. Those three guys already kind of meet your basic needs. They can still draft guys. You like Agbania. They got the big D tackle they like as well,
Yep.
correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Like it. They're going to be strong up the middle.
Yeah,
And let me just say this. We got a coaching staff now is preparing to teach the players their positions.
right.
This is complete opposite of what happened last year. Nightmare, that nightmare of a defense, and that the scheme is relatively successful, but this scheme right now has won Super Bowls.
Right. And he's been a successful defensive coach where he's been. He's ready for the next step up. I like at $3 million, I like them retaining Sam Williams because he could fit as a edge rusher. And if this coaching staff can't get anything out of him, I don't think there's then it's well whatever it costs him $3 million and we move on. And if you do, well then it's a good deal to pick him up. Also, I like the Reddy Stewart re-signing his exclusive rights tender. I think he plays in the slot. I think he has an excellent nose for the football. I think he could flourish in this defense. I like it a lot. That being said, they got Rashawn Gary, who I think leads me to believe they're going to do a lot more stunting. He's excellent on the stunt. He takes his time and works his way through. He's not going to beat you off the edge, but I'm very intrigued what they're going to do still with Frazier. There's still people out there. Um, if you're looking before the draft, what else would you be looking for them to add before the draft gets to us?
Well, that's a good question. Where are they? Where are their linebackers on the roster? Who's on that roster right now? We're all shooting for linebackers. Who do I want? I want another wide receiver.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'll take a wide receiver. Don't be so content with another wide receiver that you don't need one. You need one to push these guys. And I wouldn't mind going out there. Um, Hollywood Brown's a good pickup for the Eagles. That's a good pickup. You
Right.
got a third receiver, dump it out there. He can make a play any place on the field. That's what I want, something like that. Mhm.
Now, what are your thoughts? Ryan Flournoy is that I'd be very comfortable going into the season with Ryan Flournoy as the number three receiver. Um, are you not sold on him as a number three?
Well, I'm sold on him, but you're saying after that they have nobody. They don't have
Right,
anybody.
right.
So I'm just trying to say, let's get somebody else there on that roster with some experience, playmaking ability, um, to put some pressure on the guys on the field right there.
Yeah, if we're looking at linebacker, the Cowboys had checked in on Patrick Queen, but that really wasn't the guy that they ended up moving towards. And honestly, he is not what he was before. I think Patrick Queen is there. It's the corpse of Patrick Queen at this point. What I do like is them looking at Jordan Brooks, trading for him from the Dolphins, or Al Shire is a linebacker from the Texans. He's 29 years old in the last year of his contract, and he can hit. But the problem is they have a lot of big money tied up there on the defensive end, and I think he might be the odd man out, which would mean he'd be the odd man in to Dallas. I will take him in a heartbeat, right? Aziz Al Shire. And I think that would be someone I would make a move for. The draft is coming, and the question is, what can Dallas get at 12? Someone's going to fall. And as I told you before, as I've been saying, odds are looking more and more like Caleb Downs drops to 12. What are your thoughts on a player who could drop to Dallas?
Well, here's where we're talking about. Do they the guy that is, and I know you like rankings, you see. So here's the percentage. Downs possibility, the safety in Oregon, who is you know,
Yeah,
who do we have in our back safety? Hooker for a year. You got the guy you just picked up.
Jalen
Does
Brooks.
that safety does that safety from Oregon, is he higher percentage of playing on that team than Downs being picked, or a defensive end named Sutton from Penn State at 6'6", 260? And I'm telling you right now, he's going to be nasty out
He's not
there.
a first round pick,
Sutton.
though. He's not a first round pick.
Okay. Right. I know you like those rankings that not first round pick, but I'm saying the defensive end. Is it Falk? Is he going to be there? Would you pick Falk?
Well,
What is the percentage of the risk? Not the risk. What I'm saying is the percentage of what we need. What do we need at that 12th pick? Safety end or or a corner?
yeah, and again, I'm still sticking with the idea that that there's, of course, there's a call in my office right now that I'm going to send away,
Mm.
but there's still someone who is going to jump up. And I really feel like Monroe Freeling is the tackle who's going to go a lot higher than people expect. Like people are going to be shocked that he's a top 10 pick. And that's not even, Spencer Fano, another offensive lineman from Utah. If
Oh,
those
he's going
guys are
top 10. Yeah.
going,
Yep.
right,
He'll
and you have
go.
a tackle from Miami, if those three guys go, throw in Arvell Reese, throw in Mendoza, that's five picks right there, right? Okay, now there's six between me and the player I want, Caleb Downs. I'm not going to be upset if they take Dylan Thieneman at 12 and fall back and get CJ Allen at 20. I won't be. I really won't be. But can someone like a Ruben Bain fall? It's very intriguing to see what happens. The Chiefs, I think, are taking the cornerback from LSU because, they just traded a cornerback away. They lost him in free agency. I would not be surprised if the Dolphins take a wide receiver, if the Chiefs take a cornerback, if, the Bengals take an offensive lineman and say, Paul, they have no defense. Yes, that's correct. And they still have no offensive line, right? They still have
Yeah,
me and
they're
you
crazy.
running out their
They
offensive
have to
line.
go offensive line.
Right,
They have to go offensive line. They have to, especially with the big tackles there.
right.
You have to get after that.
Right.
Yep.
So like so here's the thing. We know one and two basically, Mendoza and
Yep.
Arvell Reese. That's basically sold. Arizona at three, where do they go? Do they start the offensive lineman and pick the guy from Miami, or do they go D end like David Bailey, right? Now, some people like him more than Ruben Bain. I would take Ruben Bain, even though Bailey has a better first step. Bain is more polished. Tennessee at four. We're going to see 4 or 5. Jeremiah Love, I think, at one of those spots, but I think he'll be the fourth pick to the Titans. Sonny Styles to the Giants at 5, right? Cleveland Browns at 6. I can almost guarantee they're taking offensive lineman, the best offensive lineman on the board because they lost all 5 starters, right? At the Commanders at 7. They could take a DN, but they could also take a wide receiver, right? To put next to Terry McLaurin, your young quarterback.
Of course,
Carnell
crazy
Tate
not
there
to.
would be a big get
Yep,
for them.
absolutely.
Then
Let me see. Let me tell you where Styles is going. Tennessee.
he could go there. And
He's
Jeremiah
got
Love, is
the
moving
head coach is
down.
listen. The head coach is defensive minded. He's going there. Guarantee. Book it. Book it.
New Orleans at 8. Do they pick a pass rusher like Ruben Bain? It could, but if he falls past New Orleans, I think that the Chiefs are picking cornerback. Cincinnati, in my opinion, should pick offensive line, but they could pick Caleb Downs there too. And the Dolphins at 11, I think, they draft someone like a Mackay. They could pick anything anywhere because they're going to be horrible. But I think you draft they have the worst wide receiver room perhaps ever in sports. Their wide receivers are as such: Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell.
Yep.
I,
Yep.
I've seen Pop Warner teams with better wide receivers than that.
Yeah, they're really bad. It's just they have to they those things at times. There's the best available, and then you have to pick that position that you don't have anything there. Let me tell you something.
Mackay Lemon.
The Saints are quietly doing a good job. Look for them to go wide receiver in their pick.
Right. If you put Chris
Mhm.
Olave out there with another receiver, right?
Yep.
You
Mhm. I'm telling you, the head coach did a nice job. Quietly went about his business. The defense top rank. They're going to work on that offense and put another receiver on the floor.
right. Put another receiver because you'll have Etienne, you have Travis Etienne, and you'll have Olave, and the other receiving option. Last year they traded for Devon Bailey, who is not good. But you have another elite receiving option out there, like a Mackay Lemon, who is tough as nails, excellent yards after catch. Give Tyler Shuck that. Give him another year to develop. You know,
I got one. I got one for them. The Oregon tight end.
right? Sadiq,
Oregon
what's
tight
his name?
end.
He
Yeah.
could.
Yeah.
He's nasty. He's nasty. They have
Oh, yeah.
Juwan Johnson, no fan, but those are not like game breakers, right? They're like reliable. Put them in
Yep.
that offense and see what they can do.
Jason Witten, because it's a Jason Witten with better athlete. Hmm. Yep.
Right.
They
So,
play calling. They play callings for tight ends in that system. Mhm.
um, I'd be very, very interested in what falls to Dallas because something we were looking at it earlier in the offseason and say, okay, nothing's going to be there for Dallas at that spot. And I think the more I look at it, the more I think that something is going to be there for Dallas at that spot because there's such significant needs for some of these teams. They have no choice but to step up and take the Chiefs have to take a cornerback, right? You're insane if you're not taking a cornerback there when Mansour Delaney is like literally just being dropped right in your lap, right? The best cornerback in the draft. Okay, put him there. You know, the Dolphins, a wide receiver, you have a guy in such a gross need is falling right in your lap, and you just drafted Malik Willis. You're not going to sign him as a free agent. You're not going to walk into the season with Jalen Tolbert as your number two. I mean, Jalen Tolbert
Or
shouldn't even be a number 6 receiver on a roster.
seven.
Forget number two. Right.
Number 7.
I mean, I thought he should be getting ready for spring ball in the XFL. Forget NFL. My
Yeah. Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. No.
So
Nothing.
yeah, there's a lot of talks as to who the Cowboys are going to pick. Obviously, we're just going to keep going over this again and again and again and again and again. Is there a player
If
you
they,
would trade up for? Let's say you hit that
I
third
don't like
rounder.
trading up. I don't like trading up. I'm not a trade up guy. I don't. I'm not a trade up guy. I'm not. It's never my style. I want them some sucking team to trade it up to get the 12th pick so we can get some more picks. I thought OC getting a third rounder for him was really a big plus in
So
that draft.
that's my
Yeah.
thing. Let's
Yeah.
say you get a third rounder. Let's say you want to move up to eight and
Mhm.
David Bailey or Ruben Bain is there at eight. Would you flip the third, 12 and a third rounder to
Nope.
move up?
Nope. Nope.
No.
Nope. The only one's
Wow.
the only one moving up worth moving up to is Styles. That's the only one worth moving up. I think he's the best player in the draft. Period. He's the best player in the draft. He's worth it. You're gonna move up. You better get the best player. That's all. Like Tony Dorsett, what they did to him with Seattle. But
Right,
uh,
but
but
they're not one player away.
right. Well, you said the best. That's what I do. You're asking me my
Sure.
philosophy
I
to get the
understand
best
that.
player.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
that. And there's been some talks, do the Cowboys, flip up to six? You go, okay, I'll trade you 12 and 20 for 6 and 24 and maybe like a fifth round pick to go up to six with the Browns or whatever the extra pick is to go up to six to get your guy, and still keep both your first rounders. So, you know, people do mock drafts online, and
Yeah.
anytime you're doing a mock draft on one of these sites, which I love and I
You,
use
you like doing that? Yeah. Yeah.
use until as soon as the season's over, I'm already starting on these things. I look back, so I
Yeah.
may not have every great player possible. You they're always someone's always willing to trade in the mock drafts, right? These online things. You could you can always trade back from 12 to 16 and get, 16 and a third and a fourth next year. And then you can trade
Yeah.
from 20 to 28 and get a
Yeah.
first this year and a second next year. You're like, okay, well, of course I'm going to do that. But that's not always what happens when it's time to draft, right? There's got to be a willing partner on the other side. And there's got to be someone worth coming to you. Let me ask you about some other players that might be available at 20. Let's look at someone like TJ Parker, the edge from Clemson. His production seemed to dip a little bit this year, but he had a strong finish to the season and actually performed excellently at the Senior Bowl. What are your thoughts on TJ Parker? Let's say they draft the safety Tinderman, or let's say they get some non-lineman at 12. He's 6'4", 263. He'd be that edge rusher, outside linebacker. What are your thoughts on someone like TJ Parker?
Well, Clemson players are usually productive in the NFL. Um, and again, the style fits the scheme. He'll They're going to teach him to play that position. His body type, he's bigger than OC Gone. He's a more physical guy, and he'll play the edge because remember that system where Parker runs. It's not like the wide nine where you're going to get three players with 10 sacks.
Right.
You're going to get the gap and a half and play the run, and the back seven plays smart defense. That's the system.
Yeah.
That's the system. That's it right there. I want Sutton. I want Sutton from the guy who I want is a Georgia linebacker who is
CJ
brilliant.
Allen.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Fits the scheme. Brilliant. Calls the plays, makes plays, blitzes up the middle. When you get 6 sacks out of him playing inside linebacker, that defense is going to be top five.
Yeah, the reality is from 12 and 20, you need two starters, right? You have to have
Yes.
two starters, and um, there's not much you can do unless you get two starters from those two picks. The only other option is you trade out of one of those picks and get two picks, right? You trade out of 12 and get 18 and a second rounder, right? But though you need at least two starters from this draft. And really the reality is you need a third contributor from that third round pick or whatever it is you do. And to circle back, you've been talking about uh, Danny Dennis Sutton, who's the D end, who's the edge rusher from Penn State,
Mhm.
6'6", 256. That's definitely a guy we'll keep an eye on. A lot of guys don't have him going, in the first. he's like a fourth round grade for a lot of
Right,
people. But
right.
if you
He's
nab him
better
in
than
the
that.
third round, if you get him in a third round pick, I don't think anyone would be upset if you went
Well,
safety. You went if you go whichever safety at 12, CJ Allen at 20, and get him in the third round pick. I think people would feel pretty comfortable about where they've landed. Thieneman, he's a safety, but he can run a little slot corner, nickel corner too. And the versatility is what Dallas is looking for. You need an edge. You're a little bit more coming off the side. I don't think they're done in free agency or at least in trading for someone. I think there's work to be done.
but they're going to pick guys who know how to tackle the football, who are smart and tackle the football. And that's his scheme of keeping everything in front of you. And that safety from Oregon will be there. Do they go for it and put him in that lineup with the other guy they just picked up and keep Hooker on the bench
Yeah,
or a defensive end? That's the call. I still don't think Downs is there. I don't think Downs there. I hope he is. I doubt it.
I
I
think
doubt it.
it's I think it's possible. And you add in maybe some of the injury concerns about the knee. And sometimes those injury concerns are so it's funny. Either they're absolutely right or they're absolutely wrong. And I guess that's what you have to do. There were
Yes,
concerns
yes,
about Tyler Linderbaum's foot coming out of school, and look what he just did. We knew we wanted Linderbaum. They
yes.
drafted
Yep.
Tyler Smith instead, so it's not like you can be terribly upset that they
Right.
drafted, an all-pro guard, one of the best guards in the league. So, okay, well, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. Um, it's not like they're drafting Yatil Green, who had two torn ACLs, right? And then tore his ACL at the Dolphins, which he was
So
nasty.
remember that?
He
Or the
was
Green. What was the Green they drafted some years ago? Stunk. The lineman got beat against the Falcons, 6 sacks. That
Cass
Green.
Green should be in
Awful.
prison for what he did. He
Yeah.
should be he should be voted off the island for
All right. So
survivor.
where are we doing this show from again?
Where are you right now?
I'm downtown Rome, baby. That's what I have.
What's the
I'm
best part
doing
of your
the
trip? What's the best part of Rome?
best part. Everything. Everything. There's nothing not to, you couldn't pick one spot. I'm going to go back to a little restaurant tonight. We've been there before. We're going back again. Mommy's resting up, and then we home tomorrow with the dogs picking up poop.
Great, as you should be.
There you
And
go.
you know what? I'm in
Yeah.
Norwalk, Connecticut, and I'm going to be going to Oggi Gelato, which you do not have in Rome anymore. So there you go. Take that,
Oh wait a minute,
sucker.
no, it's gelato. That's right. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Gelato and no, that's right. Hey, that's right. Yeah, gotcha. That's right.
Oggi
Uh,
Gelato. They used to be in Rome, but they thought it was better to be in Norwalk.
yeah,
And who amongst us doesn't? Let me tell you, there's a player I really am a little leery of drafting, and that's Akeem Mesidor. He's the other D end from Miami. He'll be 25 in
I know.
April. I'm just
Yeah,
not
forget it.
drafting.
Nope.
I'm just not drafting that. You remember a few years ago, the Eagles drafted a guard at 26 years
Remember the
old.
guard?
And they were
Remember we
like, well,
went crazy.
if he comes in and he's a Pro Bowler or All Pro right away, you're like,
Yeah, remember that? How crazy that was. We went berserk.
life is really easy when you're a 26-year-old grown man playing against 19 and 20-year-olds. The age difference, the physical difference is so
We
drastic when
went.
you
Yeah, what crazy,
listen.
crazy.
Growing up, I played Pop Warner football and I was always bigger. And I was 11 years old for my midget season, which is the oldest. And I had a teammate who was an awesome guy, but he was 17
Yeah.
years old. He's cutting his
Oh,
toenails to make weight, running before the games in a plastic bag through the cemetery to make weight. And of course, they
remember
were
that?
better than me. I was so physically undeveloped, but by the time I reached my senior year, I would have slaughtered those kids on a football field, right? If I was 17, I was a 17-year-old senior in high school at 6'2", 255, and I would have absolutely destroyed those kids. Even the other kids were 15, 16 years old. As a freshman in high school, I would have dominated easily.
That was so
And
ridiculous.
and those guys
And
they were bums by the time they went to play a high school football. They had peaked at
yeah,
seventh grade.
yeah,
Congratulations. right? Like
Yep.
good. You're a ninth grader playing Pop Warner. Go play high school football. Go play freshman. But I have a very similar feeling, and the NCAA has allowed this foolishness
Yep.
with these guys to
Mhm.
play. I mean, 24, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23,
Yep.
24, seven
Yep.
years,
And
five
getting paid
years to
money.
play 4 years. That's it. No exceptions. You get hurt,
Yep.
too bad. That's life. You move on. Sorry. Sorry. That's the way it should be. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I don't care. I don't care. 5 years to play. So you play against your peers. That's how you measure someone against your peers. If you're 24 years old playing against a 19-year-old tackle, that doesn't impress me. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Nope. Absolutely.
You
Mhm.
know, there's a huge drop off at that DN spot, like basically 1-2, right? It's Bailey and Bain as the two prospects, and then you have TJ Parker, Mesdor, Falk. Zion Young is a name I'd keep on radar as going like late first round from Missouri.
Yep.
Or
Missouri.
Mason
Yes.
Thomas,
Yep.
right? Cassius Howell, people have talked about him first round, but he's not really a first rounder to me. Malachi Lawrence. There's some good names on here. Get me wrong, but after 1-2, there's a huge fall off. So, and I think that's most people's gripes about this draft. Tight end is tremendously deep.
Oh,
Tight end
crazy.
is, oh my goodness. Tight
It's
end,
crazy.
is incredibly deep in this draft.
Oh,
But
yeah.
for most of the other positions, right? Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. Love is by far number one. Price is two. And then there's, Nick Singleton, Katron Allen. I like those guys. Le'Veon
Hmm.
Moss did not have a good year. There's, someone will hit on those later round picks, but the depth isn't there at some of these premium positions. Never mind quarterback, which you have Fernando Mendoza, who might be one of the weaker overall prospects in a while for quarterback. And then after him, it's a cliff. Ty
Wow.
Simpson,
It's nothing.
you draft
Shocked.
Ty
Yeah.
Simpson in the first
Nothing.
round, you won't be the GM of the team in 3 years.
No, it is. It's shocking how bad that is, that position.
Right.
How bad.
Drew Aller had his pro day for Penn State, and people were like, "Tell me why this guy's a good prospect." Well, if you watch him play any football, you'll know why. He stinks. He's not a good quarterback. He's got all the physical tools, yeah, except he's not good playing the game of football. That's fantastic. Great. It's like,
Yeah.
go to a weightlifting competition. Like, why aren't these guys good at a football game? Oh, they have no skills. And that's Drew Aller. He's not a good quarterback. What we thought was going to be a great year, Garrett
Hmm.
Nussmeier, Carson Beck, a lot of these guys are like, I'm not taking them. I'll take the quarterback from
Nope.
UConn because I like, guys from UConn. That's about it. So, yeah, it's a
And that little other small guy from, where was he from? Uh, who got into trouble running his mouth.
Oh, Diego Paiva. I can't even believe
That
someone would draft him
he's not getting drafted. He's not going to get drafted.
at 5'9"
Uh,
and hit
Yeah.
even his pro day.
Yeah.
Was it a pro day or was it a combine? Combine. His
Yeah.
combine, they're lobbing lollipops out on out routes. I'm like, my goodness, this guy's
Yeah.
gonna get. I mean, get
Yeah.
buddy, get used to the SEC network because there's no reason you're gonna have to get ready on Sundays. So,
Hmm.
hey, go get yourself a TV career, but I don't think
Right.
NFL career, even as a backup, right? Charlie Whitehurst had a career,
Career.
right? Charlie
Career.
Whitehurst. Let's see how long Charlie Whitehurst was in the NFL. And
8 years.
how many?
Eight. Eight.
It might be more than that. He was in the NFL. Of course, now Pro Football Reference wants to take his time. He was in the NFL 7 years from 2006,
Seven.
2016. He was on
Yep.
practice squads, and that's not a bad. Let's see his
Nope.
career earnings for a career
Hmm.
backup. Charlie Whitehurst. Charlie Whitehurst
Yeah.
career earnings.
8 million.
Between
Eight,
17 to $21.5 million. dollars.
six, 8 million. What a joke.
20 million.
No.
$20 million dollars in his career, right? I mean,
Yeah. Well, you really can't live on that, according to
some of these guys. I mean,
can't even live on it, according to who. Can't live on it. Hmm.
not a bad.
Yep.
That's not. Look at Colt McCoy. 12 years, 12 years as a
What?
backup, right? And he was never, he was never
He was 12
good.
years as a backup? No, that's crazy.
And Colt McCoy in his career earned $27 million as a backup. And
It's hard to live on that. According to some of the players out there, it's one player said it's hard to live on 100 million. So I don't know, but they must. I don't know what they're doing now. They're
Colt
doing
McCoy
security
now
for
works
him.
for NBC Sports, so he's still in the life. You know what I mean?
Still making local money. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So quite an experience, quite a time. All right, we have a few minutes left here. Anything else you want to specifically talk about before we wrap up this episode?
Well, we're going to see a big drama on the first draft picks comes to the Cowboys. A lot of drama through the whole league, and I'm excited, getting pumped on it, watching each night, finding out more about these guys. And listen, we've got a coaching staff now with a scheme that has won before, and we need it. We need to get relevant in out there. And Jerry, it looks like he is taking a step back. He does have the final say. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I think there's a different tone there. The other reporters have realized it too. There's a different tone there. And give the head coach. We want him to be like Tom Coughlin. And Tom Coughlin won 2 Super Bowls. That's what we
Yeah.
want. We want our Tom Coughlin to be him and be our Tom Coughlin.
So I think
That's
there's going
what.
to be a lot of drama that first night after picks 1 and 2, right? I think we're pretty
Yeah.
sure Mendoza and Reese go 1-2 to the
Yeah.
Raiders and Jets. But after that, it's a crapshoot. I don't feel,
Oh,
I mean, each team could pick different players, right? Each team could
yeah.
pick one, two, three, four players, which is going to affect down the line where you're going to go. Even we say the Chiefs, okay, cornerback. What happens if someone else gets a cornerback? What happens if I always like to say some team does something stupid every year, and it looks like,
Mhm.
right? We're like, well, what team's going to do it? Guess what? The Jags traded up for Travis Hunter, and now you basically traded up for a guy you're just going to have play cornerback and not wide receiver. It's like, was
Uh,
that worth it? All that you traded up for a guy who's not going to play both sides of the ball, and the Browns benefited because they needed those picks.
yep.
So, and they got a decent defensive lineman out of it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm just very, very intrigued. Who does something dumb? Who does, and I say this every single time about the draft, someone will do something and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. The Cardinals at
Gotcha.
3 can pick whoever and really not
Right.
basically not be a bad pick because they'll be starting
Right. That's what I'm saying.
anywhere.
Right. Anywhere. They throw the
So,
dart at the board. Throw the dart at the board.
right,
Yep.
and between the Cardinals and the Dolphins, I think they're both playing for the first pick next year.
Mm-hmm.
It's the race to the bottom for Arch Manning. It's Banning wins for Manning next year.
Yep.
So who is going to race to the bottom to get him? And then you still have Dante Moore from Oregon next year. So there's going to be a lot of teams who are. I think if you're a team who's not good, there's no reason to pick a quarterback, but you just take like whatever you can, even if it's not a hugely impactful position, which is why I think this is the year you want to draft your offensive lineman. If you're the Cardinals, get your line set so that your quarterback of the future comes in with a set offensive line, which is why I think they're drafting line, why they should draft line at 3. Bad organizations do bad things, though. So listen, we
Yep.
got about 4.5 minutes left. Anyone you want to shout out before we're done today?
Well, shout out to Zach, who we visited here and had a good time with him. He showed us around some more of nice little towns in Italy. We had a good time with him, and he's grown up, being responsible, and he's doing a good job.
Who
So,
would have
so
thought?
exactly number 4.
Yep. Who would have
Mhm.
thought Danbury, Connecticut, from Longcrest Road to
Yep.
Italy, living his best life. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's been quite a ride for him, huh? Shout out to Zach.
Absolutely.
Yeah, shout out to Zach. He's
Yep.
been okay, I guess.
Hmm.
So,
Yep.
yeah. And mom's doing good.
Mom's snoring right now at the room. Yep, she's
I
snoring.
believe you.
Hmm. Yep.
Like a chainsaw.
Yep. Hmm.
So that's great. Listen, don't forget to find us YouTube, Spotify,
Spotify.
iTunes, wherever you can find
Yep.
the Cowboys and Coffee podcast. That's where you'll find
From
us.
Rome.
Talk,
From
yeah,
Rome.
from Rome and
Yep.
Norwalk, as everyone would want to.
Yeah, no walk.
The
Yeah.
infamous
Yeah.
Norwalk, Connecticut. Everyone wants to go
Yeah.
visit.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what no walk.
they call Rome the Norwalk of the East. I think that's what they usually. That's what I was told a
Yeah,
long
God,
time
yeah.
ago when I got here. They said, "You know Rome?" So, of course I know Rome. That's the Norwalk of the East. No kidding. Yeah. So, all right, D.
Yeah.
I love you. Have a safe flight home.
Love
I'll
you.
see you in a few days.
All right.
Everybody else, don't forget to find us. Go Huskies for the tournament, men and women. Let's win both
Yep.
again for the third time, baby. Let's go.
You
All right.
should. You should.
All
Love
right,
you.
everybody. Have a good one. Peace.